Hello my dear friends, in the last video we have learned analysis of beams, introductory part and some of the problems we have solved. Similarly, module number 3 part B, torsion of shafts, the introduction to the shaft, formulation of a shape function for a shaft and elemental stiffness matrix for a shaft. These are the 3 bits are available in your curriculum in this module number 3 part B, torsion of shaft. And then some of the problems we need to solve on the same concept. Shaft. What is meant by a shaft? It is a rotating machine element, usually circular in cross section. That indicates it is a circular in cross section. The diameter is vary with respect to the condition based on the requirement, which is used to transmit power from one part to other part of the machine. The shaft is used to transmit a power from one part of the machine to the another part. In other sense, how we will define? From a machine which produces the power to a machine which absorbs the power. The machine which is produces the power to absorb the power for another kind of machine to get some work. Such element is called as a shaft. This element has the various members such as a pulley and gears are mounted on it to transmit a power from one part of the machine to the another part of the machine or from one machine to the other machine. So we got the idea what is meant by a shaft element. After that shaft element we have a first bit in this chapter. They have given finite element formulation of shaft. Two bits are there. One is in a shape function of the shaft, another is in a elemental stiffness matrix for a given shaft element. Now first bit I will take a shape function of shaft will drive, then we will go with the elemental stiffness matrix. To drive a shape function of the shaft element, consider a shaft element. Figure shows 1D shaft element having two nodes 1 and 2. At each node there is a single degrees of freedom. We are considering only single degrees of freedom at each node for a shaft element. Let n1 and n2 be the shape function at node number 1 and node number 2. Theta 1 and theta 2 be the nodal twisting or torsion, or we will say torsional deformation at node number 1 and 2. It is a twisting moment or torsional deformation or a deformation at each node number 1 and 2. You can see here one dimensional shaft element. I have taken a shaft has a two nodes, node number 1 and 2. The distance maintained from the origin x1 representing a shaft along x direction from left towards the right direction says origin O. From the origin O to the node number 1 the distance is equals to x1. From the origin O to the node number 2 the distance is equals to x2. Mid of the shaft from the origin the distance is representing as x, and the length of the shaft element is equals to LE is equals to x2 minus x1. At each node has a single degrees of freedom theta 1 due to the application of a torsion T1 and theta 2 due to the application of a torsion T2 at node number 1 and node number 2. At node number 1 we have a theta 1 the torsional deformation due to the application of a torque T1. Due to the application of a torque T2 at node number 2 we have a torsional deformation theta 2. Now we need to find out the shape function. Consider let n1 and n2 be the shape function at node number 1 and 2. Theta 1 and theta 2 be the nodal twist or torsional deformation at node number 1 and 2 or twisting moment. We have x1 and x2 be the distance of node 1 and node 2 from the origin. X be the distance of any point or mid point with a element from the origin. Here to find the torsional deformation twist, assume a linear angle of twist variation along the x-axis of the bar or shaft element. To find out this shape function, we are assuming the polynomial displacement function for a torsion of shaft that theta is equals to a0 plus a1x. Call it as equation number 1. We need to find out a generalized coordinate values a0 and a1. a0 and a1 are the generalized coordinates to be found from the boundary conditions. They are from the equation we have a0 and a1 are the unknown. To determine that a1 and a0 we need to select the boundary condition from the figure. At x is equals to x1, where at node number 1 x is equals to x1, then theta becomes theta 1. Now similarly at node number 2 x is equals to x2, then theta becomes theta 2. See here, at node number 1 x is equals to x1, theta becomes theta 1. At node number 2 x becomes x2, theta becomes theta 2. From figure we have taken these values. Now I'll apply the first boundary condition, node number 1 x is equals to x1 is equals to theta 1. Then equation number 1 becomes, this equation number 1 becomes theta becomes theta 1, x becomes x1, this one, right? Equation number 1, theta 1 is equals to a naught plus a1 x1, call it as the equation number a. At node number 2 similarly apply the boundary condition, x becomes x2, theta becomes theta 2. Then equation number 1 becomes theta 2 is equals to a naught plus a1 x2, call it as the equation number b. To find out a1, subtracting the equation b minus a, we get a1. Now on a left hand side, theta 2 minus theta 1, we are subtracting equation number b minus equation number a, that is theta 2 minus theta 1 is equals to a naught plus a1 x2, here minus of a naught plus a1 x1, that is a naught plus a1 x2 minus of a naught plus a1 x1. Now remove the brackets, theta 2 minus theta 1, a naught plus a1 x2 minus a naught minus a1 x1. Then we have a plus a naught minus a naught will get cancelled, remains we have a1 x2 minus a1 x1. a1 I'll take common from here, x2 minus x1 we have this. Rearrange that, a1 is equals to theta 2 minus theta 1 whole divided by x2 minus x1. Put this value in the equation number a, we will get a naught. Now this value of a1 I'll substitute in the equation number a. We have here equation number a, in this equation number a, then that equation number a becomes theta 1 a naught plus a1 x, theta 1 a naught plus of a1 means theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by x2 minus x1, substitute value into x1, right? After that rearrange this equation, theta 1 is equals to a naught plus x1 multiply inside the bracket theta 2 x1 minus theta 1 x1 divided by x2 minus x1 remains same. Now take the LCM of this theta 1 x2 minus x1, this will remain same minus of this value. Then multiply this theta 1 inside this bracket, theta 1 x2 minus of theta 1 x1 minus, when I'll remove the bracket, theta 2 x1, this minus becomes plus theta 1 x1. Here minus theta 1 x1 plus theta 1 x1 will get cancelled, remains theta 1 x2 minus theta 2 x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Then a naught is equals to theta 1 x2 minus theta 2 x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Substitute the value of a naught and a1 in equation number 1. We get the equation number 1, we have here theta is equals to a naught plus a1 x. We found these two values, get that substitute in this equation number 1, then equation number 1 becomes theta is equals to theta 1 x2 minus theta 2 x1 divided by x2 minus x1, theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by x2 minus x1 into x. This is a1 value, this is a naught value, a1 into x. Now I'll rearrange this. When I take the LCM of this equation, we have here x2 minus x1 common, I have taken this plus of theta 2 minus theta 1 into x. Then this x I'll multiply inside the bracket. We have as it is theta 1 x2, theta 2 x1 plus of theta 2 x minus theta 1 x whole divided by x2 minus x1. We have here theta 1 x2, theta 1 x, we have theta 1 I take common, theta 1 x2 minus x. Now I'll take from here theta 2 common plus theta 2, we have a positive x minus of x1, then whole divided by x2 minus x1 as it is. Now I'll take separately this theta 1 common, x2 minus x divided by x2 minus x1 plus of theta 2 into x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1 separately I have taken. The value of this is equals to n1, this is equals to n2. Shape function of node number 1, shape function of node number 2. After rearranging this equation, we have this theta is equals to theta 1 into x2 minus x divided by x2 minus x1 plus of theta 2 x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Then this value is equals to n1 and then this value is equals to n2. Call it as equation number 2. Then equation number 2, n1 we have this one, x2 minus x whole divided by x2 minus x1. n2 we have here is equals to x minus x1 whole divided by x2 minus x1 is said to be as a shape function for a shaft element where LE is equals to x2 minus x1. This value LE is equals to this one and this one. In the last derivation, the shape function we have found for a beam element, that is a 4 shape function we have derived. At each node 2 shape functions are there, but here in this given shaft element we have only 2 shape functions. Why? At each node 1 degrees of freedom. How many degrees of freedoms are there? That much numbers of shape function will get in a final answer. Clear? Why we are getting this only a 2 n1 and n2? Each node we have considered a 1 degrees of freedom in a given shaft element. You can see here theta 1 and theta 2. Similarly, boundary condition, how many boundary conditions we have taken? At node number 1, 1 boundary condition. At node number 2, 1 boundary conditions. Only 2 boundary conditions we have. But in a beam element, 4 boundary conditions are there. Node number 1 has 1 boundary condition. Node number 2 has another 2 boundary conditions. 4 boundary conditions are there. Now equation 2 in terms of a matrix form. Equation 2 in terms of a matrix form, this is a theta E which is equals to theta 1 and theta 2. I'll take as a vector theta 1 theta 2, then theta 1 coefficient n1, theta 2 coefficient n2. Then this is called as a shape function matrix and then this one is a displacement vector theta E, right? We have found the shape function of a given shaft element. This we will use several times while we will derive the stiffness matrix. Thank you.